there, I'm out at, I'm over at my friendly local game shop. I'm here, you can't see him, but actually you can see him, there he is. That's Gary, he's the owner, Valhalla veteran, so come out to Valhalla and you can get a game in with Gary. He is quite a challenging opponent. Alright, so I'm here with this lovely masterpiece, Kablam! Warhammer 40k 6th edition, and it makes me very excited. I decided to come out this morning, read it. I might be here 2, 4, 6, 8 hours. Who knows? Gary's like, oh, geez. He's not going to take up space here, I hope. So anyway, yes, I'm spreading out. So here's the deal. I did wax a bit nostalgic on my way over because I started in Warhammer 40k 3rd edition back in 1997. And then 4th edition came out, and that was when I owned my game shop, and that was the release of the Dark Eldar. And yeah, so good times with that. So most of you know I had a game shop back in Oregon. It was pretty exciting. In fact, if you dug up White Dwarfs from that epoch, you would actually find my game shop listed. So maybe someone can take a stab at what the name of my shop is, because I never say it. So if I may continue, and then 5th edition came out when I was in the Badger Hole, after I'd started Blue Table Painting. I think that was 2007, 2008. Am I right, Gary? Is that when 5th Ed came out? Isn't it 4 years old? Wasn't it 2008?
Yeah.
He's inhaling and looking up to the skies.
My daughter was born shortly before that.
Okay, great. That's awesome. He remembers major family events. You know, I'm like, when I got married, Arabian Nights expansion for Magic was just coming out. Bought those cards for 10 cents each. So anyway, if I may continue, I'm not going to actually show you the book because of copyright issues, and I do respect copyrights. But I am going to tell you what I think as I go through it. First off, the thing that interests me most is the force organization chart. So I'm looking that up first. Apparently you have what's called a primary detachment. That's your regular force organization. Then you can have an allied detachment, and then you can also have one fortification. So for your primary, it's the same as it always was. It's 2 HQ, 6 troops, 3 of each of the other ones. With compulsories, there's 1 HQ is compulsory and 2 troops are compulsory. Transports count outside of the force organization chart. Isn't that nice? Now, what excites me about the fortification, so you can have 3 detachments, right? So primary, that's a regular thing that we're all used to. Apparently no changes. There's allied detachment, which looks like a force organization chart, but it's a little bit different. You have to have an HQ, and you have to have 1 troops in order to take the allied detachment. So that's your buddy, the HQ and his unit of troops. And then you can add up to 1 of each of the other types: elites, heavy, and fast attack. And so the maximum you could do would be 5 entries for an allied detachment. But they have to be from a different book, and there's a chart showing, you know, which ones that you can take, and they are weakened depending on how strong of allies they are. So allies, at first I thought, oh, surely they'll just do allies like in Warhammer Fantasy, where it's like, yeah, there's allies if you want to have friendly games. No friendly games around here, it's all official. Rules are important to humans. Humans like rules because it makes things consistent. Well, anyway, too many rules is bad. Okay, so what I love about fortifications, yes, that's where I was, is the conversions possibility. And that's what I'm looking at this as, is if I'm going to bring allies, I'm going to make them counts as, and I'm going to turn them into something. And so the first thing, because I'm going to give some commentary and not just tell you kind of how it is. So my commentary is that the first thing we need to do is figure out what allies create effects that can enhance your own army. Like, where's the sweet combos? Okay, here's where it all blows up, is that Oh, wow. Is that in a game that's 2,000 points or larger, which is, let's face it, that's what we play at. Gary, would you say that? Most games are played at 2,000 or over.
or more.
Yeah. Boom! You get to take a second force organization chart. Now, because I'm looking at this, I'm a casual gamer, not a competitive gamer. I'm looking for modeling possibilities. I'm looking for role-playing possibilities. I am looking for, well, I guess that's modeling possibilities too. Conversions. So the fortifications, which are all imperial things published by Games Workshop, and you might be like, well, why would my Tyranids have, you know, an Aegis defense line? Well, it can also represent, as the book says, because they try and help you imagine it all, it might represent a captured or overrun fortification. But you know what? You know what I'm doing? I'm going to be converting this stuff. And I would encourage you, the BTP client, to have us do some custom stuff. What would the same things look like but for a Tyranid force? A Tyranid landing pad, a Tyranid defense line, a Tyranid tower, a Tyranid fortress of redemption, right? What would those things be like? And I, for one, can't wait to go for it. And you know what this means? This means Eldar. The Eldar are back, baby. I've already started kind of putting it together. I'm just down here. In fact, I'm really kind of down here just to read this and find out what it means for Eldar. 2 force organization charts, that only means one thing. I can long last do my massed Wraith Lord army. Oh yeah, I love that model, but it's taken up sweet real estate in the Eldar heavy support section. So away I go. Alright, so I'm out of the force organization chart, and because I'm looking at this with an eye for Eldar or Tyranids, so I'm off to Psychers. So psychic powers are completely different. The first thing is establishing mastery level. Every Psyker has a mastery level 1 through 4. Sound familiar? One thing I really like about this rule book is that the like sometimes I'll have a big paragraph, but most of it's just description. It's like, oh, here's the background and the fluff, and you know why it works this way. But the rule that you're actually looking for is kind of buried in there. It's just one sentence. And in this book, they have they've put the critical rule portion in bold, so that makes it about a zillion times easier to find it. So basically, so all the old books, I guess all the codexes, all written in 5th edition or earlier. Was there any book that didn't get an update in 5th edition, I wonder? That's still like really, really old. Anyway, you determine mastery level by how many psychic powers the guy can use. So I don't know what that means. I know an Eldar Farseer, well, I do know what it means. I just don't know the significance of it. Like, how's that gonna impact the game? You can get Spirit Stones for your Farseer, which would mean instead of 1 power, he could use 2 powers. Who else? I want to look in I want to look in the Demons book. Gary, how many? Oh, you know what? Never mind. Okay, Tyranids. I think the only Psychers in a Tyranid army is the Hive Tyrant, right? And so let's take a look at the Hive Tyrant. How many powers can a Hive Tyrant use per turn? Oh, come on. Be good to me now. There we go. Hive Tyrant. Well, this just shows the powers. Yeah, I think the Hive Tyrant is only power level 1. And that means... But see, it doesn't have any other effect. It just, in this, that what happens is at the beginning of the turn, so if you're a Psyker mastery level 1, you generate a warp charge token. So, and I imagine people actually put physical tokens next to them. So if you're level 2 mastery, you'd get 2 tokens. And it's not a pool like in Warhammer Fantasy for all of them to use. It's that they specifically get to use those. And it happens at the beginning of your turn. You get your warp charge token. And then apparently at the end of your... once it has been used, it's gone. Yeah, at the end of the turn, you lose your warp charge tokens. So apparently you don't have them during your opponent's turn. You only have them during your turn. And so basically, to use a power, you expend a, let's see, manifested at the start. Hold on. Okay, so they can use psychic powers even if they're falling back or have gone to ground. Okay, and psychic powers, there's no psychic phase, so you still use them wherever it says at the beginning of the movement phase, during shooting. Most psychic powers are kind of like shooting attacks, but basically, so to use one, you use your warp charge. You say, okay, I'm using a power, take the warp charge off the guy, and then you declare your target. Something interesting here is all psychic powers must have line of sight, and the edge of the hull of a vehicle blocks line of sight in and out. So you can't target a guy in a vehicle, and if your psyker's in a vehicle, he can't target out. He can target the vehicle itself, he can target a unit inside the vehicle, he can target himself, but he can't go outside the vehicle. So then leadership test, perils of the warp can still happen, which is just one wound, no saves of any kind allowed. And you do still, if you pass the test on double ones, you still use the power even if you're killed. Isn't that neat? So now, something interesting is, okay, so this interests me because which of the 16 Warhammer 40k army books have psychers? The following have them: Blood Angels, Chaos Demons, Chaos Space Marines, Dark Angels, Eldar, Grey Knights, we're up to 6 now, Grey Knights, Imperial Guard, Orcs. Do Sisters of Battle have psychers? I don't think they do. Space Marines, Space Wolves, and Tyranids. So 11 of the 16 armies have psychic powers. But might point out that you can get them through allies. Usually psychers aren't troops. Not usually. I can't think of a single example where they are. So you've got a lot of HQs are psychers, and you can take those typically as allies. What's interesting, Eldar for allies, there's different levels of allies, which you probably noted is Battle Brothers. Eldar are Battle Brothers with, with Dark Eldar, right? And also with one other race, it's the Tau. Isn't that kind of odd? So Tau could have a Farseer and a unit of like jet bikes or whatever. For me, just because I'm kind of obsessively compulsively theme army oriented, I want to basically convert things. So if I had a unit of jet bikes and a Tau army, I'd want to make Tau jet bikes. Wouldn't that be cool? Oh my gosh, the conversion possibilities. And it also makes me look at the Tau book and go, God, what would I want in the Eldar book? Well, we all know Eldar are the superior race. They're awesome. What would be good in the Tau book? Right? What would an Eldar battlesuit look like? Right? What in heavy support would be good for Eldar? Well, quite frankly, not the Hammerhead, because Eldar have a ton of really awesome tanks. Yeah, interesting question. You could turn a Nightwing into a Void Raven bomber. Boom! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Definitely. Yeah. And you've got the slots for it. You can take 4 HQs. Oh, and that's in just your primary plus your secondary, I guess you'd call it, and not even your allied force. So, yeah, guys, am I thinking this through straight? So in a 2,000 plus game, in your first force org chart, you could have 2 HQs. In your second one, you could have 2 HQs. And then you could have an allied, so you could have 5 HQs conceivably in your army. I just have to tell you, this just opens everything up. And some people will think of it as a Pandora's box, like, oh, all these deals. No, it'll all come out in the wash. If anything, it'll kind of balance the game. Think about this. What if there were a game where there was only one army book, but that army book had like 250 listings in it? Right? How could it not be balanced? Everyone has access to the same thing. You couldn't go, oh, Groan, I'm up against such and such. Oh, yeah, it's the exact same thing. It would only be a matter of internally inside of that master list figuring out what it is would serve you in the most situations. Although the thought doth occur that this will allow you to tailor more as well. But the collection possibilities, all the collection possibilities, if you have lots of different armies, you can draw from different armies. And if they encourage you, obviously you could do this without encouragement, but there's a little blurb here called Forging a Narrative, which is explaining kind of why these guys are with these other guys. So so let's take a look at Dark Eldar. They are battle brothers with Eldar, and that's basically it. But there are allies of convenience, and so what is allies of, I know I went off of the Psyker thing. Allies of convenience are treated as enemy units that cannot be charged, shot, targeted with psychic powers, have templates or blast markers placed over them. So yeah, basically like an enemy unit that you control. So they can't benefit from your warlord, can't be joined by allied independent characters, who cares, are not counted as friendly units for targeting of psychic powers. Yeah, that's pretty loose restrictions. So quite frankly, you got to treat allies of convenience as actually working out. So who are allies of convenience with Eldar? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Eldar have a ton. Black Templars, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Grey Knights are allies of convenience for Eldar. Imperial Guard. Hold on. What's this one? Oh, Space Marines and Space Wolves. So basically all the MAQ armies. Although I don't know what I don't really know what I would want to include. But what would be? I just got a text from Mason. Let's see what he says. It's done. Come check it out. Ha ha ha. Oh, that must mean the Orc-mobile. All right. I'm about a half hour away from the studio, and I'm going to be here hours. So anyway, okay, isn't that interesting? That is, I don't know what I would want to get. Like a Thunderfire cannon? Ah, imagine a Thunderfire cannon that has the appearance of some kind of Eldar thing. That's really cool. Wow. This is going to get out of control fast. And in a good way. I'm ready. What was I looking? Oh, Tyranids can't ally with anybody. They're really kind of weird that way. So I don't know what that means. Let's take a look at Tau. Tau allies of convenience are Eldar and Space Marines. Well, what do you know about that? And they have a ton of allies of convenience. In fact, only Tau can ally with anybody except Tyranids in some form or another. What's Desperate Allies? When I open, at the start of each of your movement phase, each of your units within 6 inches of a Desperate Ally will roll a d6. On a 1, that unit cannot move, shoot, or run. Ah, so it's kind of like Squabble. So basically, a Desperate Ally has a 6-inch Squabble bubble around it that makes your main guys kind of be like, whoa. They're just like, they don't shoot because they're waiting to see what they're going to do. But what significance does that have? Well, you get over that. Just like in Magic the Gathering, a game I love, by the way, and cannot play. I think I'm over a year clean now. Nope, can't even play one single game. It'll cost me. I'll be in. I'll be all in. Like a gambling addict that way for Magic. In fact, yeah. You can lose a lot of money on Magic too. So anyway, you simply negate the downside by maneuvering it. So okay, well, what in this Desperate Allies list could, like, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're in 6 inches because this particular unit operates so outside the line, outside of the main line, that there's really never a problem. And even then, it's only on a roll of a 1. So that's pretty brutal. But do remember, to unlock the other things, to unlock fast attacks, heavies, and elites, you've got to put in an HQ and a troop, and that does take some space. So what you've got to do is you've got to look at all these different army lists and think, well, where are the things where they have a troop that I would want in my army? And I have to tell you, the Allies thing is, I think, the biggest absolute atom bomb on 40K right now. And I think you hear a lot of complaints, but I believe, for the reason that I cited, that it will actually serve to balance the game. And it will make it more interesting, present tons of great conversion possibilities, and there will still be purists. who will, like where they said, oh, the demons fight with each, allied, sometimes. No, if I'm going to make a Tzeentch army, I pick only Tzeentch stuff. And if I pick something from another one of the Chaos Gods, I convert it and call it what the main thing is. So I think there's going to be a ton of things. So notably, Chaos and Demons cannot ally with any of the Space Marine factions. But Demons and Chaos Space Marines are battle brothers. So that is an enormous, just an absolute... I cannot tell you how cool that makes this, that Demons are back into and vice versa. That's just really super. And quite frankly, it's all good. Apocalypse, people play Apocalypse. It's a fun thing. And in that, you can include anything at all without limitation. And the only minimum there was 3,000 points. So, absolutely. I, for one, I am thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. This old book that I was reading back when I was a school teacher 10 years ago it's been revitalized. It's a completely different thing now. Everything has changed in this book and how I can create the Eldar. And I'm going to be sifting through and trying to find out what the significance is. So one thing I found, back to Psychers, is that Psychers are... a Farseer is a level 1 or 2 Psyker. What about Eldrad Ulthuan? Come on, Gary, help me out. Can he do 3 powers a turn?
Oh, it's been a long time since I played against Eldrad.
Yep, 3rd psychic power. So he gets 3. But really, all the mastery level does is allow you to do that many psychic powers. So they just made it like more formalized with the warp charge tokens. So anyway, you take your test. Your opponent has a 6-up chance of just basically, I'm going to say, nullifying the power. It is kind of like a dispel roll. If the target unit has Psychers in it, you add +1 to the roll. So 5 up for having Psychers in a unit. And one or more Psychers of higher mastery level than the model, it's +2. So that makes Eldar pretty awesome that way, really, because most Psychers are only mastery level 1. That it really is the most common one. And then they have some things for Psychic Hood here. Basically, Psychic Hood allows you to do a Deny the Witch, as Deny the Witch is the nullify power. In fact, I'm going to call it nullify. Deny the Witch is a little too laborious. And race specific. So anyway, hey, what's going on? I already beat you to it. I hope you got multiple copies of this book, Gary.
Not open.
Not open? Well, hold on a second. Hey, guess who's here? It's Thomas Engineering! Yay! Those guys are awesome. And here's Little Pod. So there we go. And so now that Thomas is here, he's gonna. Oh, I shouldn't clap in front of the baby. The baby's gonna be. Oh no, he's saying hi to me. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
It's like, what's
He's
up?
like, yeah, he was going like this. What's up? What's going on? He's giving me a little Barney Stinson there. Okay, so Thomas is cracking open his book, and we're gonna tag team the rules and make some commentary. It'll be good times. Oh, by the way, check out Thomas's pants.
Got a bunch of games going on here for July.
Give it up for those
Play
pants.
whatever, and
Sounds fun.
And his legendary pink sandals.
Yes.
By the way, don't ever throw those away. I want to frame them. I want
Okay.
to frame them on the wall of BTP. Now you think
Awesome.
I'm joking? It'll be like a reliquary. I should make a blue table painting reliquary.
That would actually be really
Yeah.
cool, Sean.
Like a chest full of like things that people. Oh my gosh, that actually is a good idea.
It really is.
That like if you leave or something, we take something down and
You
write
know,
like a date on it.
The
and-
first person you should do is you got to take something of
I
counts.
think so. Yeah. Big sigh. Oh yeah, smell it. Smell it on tape. Go ahead. Oh yeah. That's
I'm excited
good.
about this.
That's fresh. All right,
is good.
I did a Psychers and Force Organization
Oh, okay.
already. Don't let me force you to do something you don't want to do.
Well, I
by
just,
the way.
I don't know very much. I've heard some stuff.
There we go.
And
Yeah, most of the things I've read on Bell of Lost Souls is accurate so far. So there you go. The big thing is the force organization chart. So one way to look at the allies thing is, well, that just became part of your army book now. And
ones
you can
and-
just
ones and
convert things
sixes
to
are
look like
always-
that.
Are still always 6 is always a failure. 1 is always a success on characteristic tests.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh, line of sight.
Okay, Thomas is going to give you the real skinny on allies here.
I gotta read it first.
No, that's fine. I'll let you read it.
Okay.
I'll give you 5. You got 5 minutes,
got 5
Thomas. So
minutes,
hurry
all
up. I'm totally kidding, by the way. Janine just shot me a glance.
It was a glance, though, not a glare.
Oh, okay, good. Thank goodness.